Yo, last month I filmed a life update. I want to try to do one every single month, like a video diary or a life update every single month. Ideally on the first of the month. The beginning of this month was a little crazy with us just getting to Toronto and everything. So it's July the 3rd today, I think. July 4th. Today's July 4th. So I'm a few days late on this one, but I still wanted to get it done. And what's crazy is I was just watching the other life update a couple days ago, or maybe it was today. Our lights are bugging out here. We gotta get these replaced. Anyways, and I was saying how like the next life update's gonna be in Toronto. That's so crazy. And you know what? Now we're here in Toronto, which is still just as crazy. And there's so much to update you on. You know, like yes, there's things to update and things not to. Like obviously there's LA. I kind of want to break down that whole trip for you. And I told it to Nan and Granda a few days ago before we left. And I want to kind of tell you this story as well, so I kind of have it documented. You know, you obviously have the vlogs, you can go back and watch it, but it's a different perspective to hear me break it down. So I want to do that. I want to talk about the move and the drive in the truck, because again, hearing me talk about it versus watching the vlogs is different. I also just got back from Altea, our super fancy gym. It was so nice. I did bench press today, which was rad, or like incline and decline. The regular bench was full, but that was rad. I haven't done that in like 2 years, so that felt good. I'm definitely stronger than I was 2 years ago, which is really good because everything I did, I wouldn't have been able to do 2 years ago, which is awesome. With that being said, I also am going to make a smoothie right now because I want to have one after the gym. So I'm going to do that while we talk. I also don't know where, maybe down here. I don't know where everything is because Josh unpacked our kitchen. This backlighting is terrible though. But anyways, and at the gym too, it was ridiculous. So I got locked out of my locker, which I was gonna do, like Hallie's in a yoga class right now and she's gonna be done soonish. And so I was like, well, what if I just like hit the steam room and chill and then I'll just go home with her. So I need to shower too and everything. So I was like, you know, that works. That lets me kill this next 15, 20 minutes. And then I got locked out of my locker. And then I thought, I was like, what if I got locked out in nothing but a towel? That's embarrassing. So I've decided to just come home and not shower at the gym today. I will tomorrow. But I was just like overwhelmed. I locked myself out. I was like, I'm gonna just leave. You know, I'm definitely like, I think me as an individual is like rejecting the change that we're going through right now. I am very excited to be in Toronto, but I keep having like brain fog and just like, my mood's not always great. I'm like, I don't know why, but then I look outside and I'm like, I'm in Toronto. I live here now. This is amazing. And I get so excited. But like, I think my internal my brain is just rejecting all this change so quickly. And so I've been feeling like down lately, which is really weird because like I'm genuinely excited to be here. And like every time we're outside, I'm excited. But I think like, it's a combination of one, my body rejecting the change, and two, just the lack of routine over the last couple of weeks. Cause like really, I went to LA, that was Tuesday. So I left Tuesday morning or whatever it was, very early in the morning, or Wednesday morning maybe. And I haven't really stopped until recently. Cause it was like LA. And then from LA, I got home, I was like sick. And I don't think it was COVID. I'm pretty sure. I don't think it was COVID. It was just cold. It was a combination of cold and exhaustion and travel and stress and everything kind of hit me all at once. And so I was like down for the count for a couple days. And then we moved, and then moving was stressful. And then we were here for the first couple days, and we had Josh here, so we were going out, we were doing things. And then I just haven't had a chance yet to like really have a proper routine. And so I think that's part of it. My body's like, my mind is just kind of like flailing at this new surroundings, big changes, lack of routine. And so that's been the biggest struggle for me lately, with all these changes. But like at the same time, incredibly excited to be here and just over the moon with everything, with the fact that we made this decision, like just walking around. Like it hasn't fully, like it's starting to now, but over the first couple of days, like it hadn't fully set in yet that we lived here. It really kind of felt like a vacation because we're in a new city, and that's never really happened before. Like when I moved from Portage to Ottawa was familiar. Toronto is not. So that, coupled with the fact that our building is so fucking fancy that it feels like I'm in a hotel, didn't make it feel like I lived here. And so that's still an adjustment that's going on right now. But hold on, I'm just getting on. So there's that. But like I said, incredibly happy to be here. But like little things like today at the gym where I'm like, I get in there and I was like, holy shit, I don't know where anything is. I don't know what's available. I was just a little overwhelmed with the gym, and that's going to keep happening, but that's okay because these things are a part of change. And I feel like I'm not a big change guy. I'm trying to be. You know, I'm very much like a comfort person, which is probably why for a long time growing up, I didn't like to get rid of things, which I'm also working on. Like we had to get rid of our couch, which was not our couch, our love seat, which is like the OG love seat from when we first moved out together. And I loved that couch, and we gave it to Josh because it didn't fit in my what is this called? My office, whatever, in the den, because it was too long. So the chair wouldn't fit because with the couch, I couldn't pull the chair out of the way. So it really practically did not make sense to have it there. And so we had to get rid of the couch, which was very sad. And I was not stoked about it. We were both sad, but like, that's just a part of life, I think, and part of change is the fact that things aren't going to stay the same. We're not going to get to keep our hair. This looks really weird with just my head. I'll sit on my tippy toes so it's not as weird. But I'm trying to think what else. There's something else I was going to say with that. Oh, that's like another thing I'm contemplating. I'm going back and forth on is getting rid of all of my video games. The PlayStation 3 and Xbox 360 games. Because like, they just take up so much room. And like, that's something I'm really trying to cut down is just clutter, like, and shit like that. Like, it's going to depend. We might get a storage unit, so I might keep them. But like, I very rarely go in them and do something with, like, I've played just FIFA for the last year. Like, I haven't really played anything else but FIFA. And so it's like, why am I lugging around 100+ video games if I'm never gonna fucking play them? And they take up so much space. And now that we don't have as much storage, they're gonna sit on the floor of my room. And I'm like, I don't want that. And so, but that's like such a huge, that's gonna be the hardest thing for me to get rid of is all those games, because I spend so much time collecting them all. And they're a big deal to me to have them. I almost forgot to put protein in my smoothie. That would have been very sad. But yeah, where the fuck is my protein? I have no idea where it is. Is it in here? What the hell? Where? Ah, got it. What was I saying? Video games. Yeah, so like, I don't know. I'm debating getting rid of them. I'm not entirely sure. I'm not sold on getting rid of them yet. I'm debating like trying to force myself to play through them instead of always playing FIFA, playing through my games. And also part of it is like PlayStation, Xbox have different subscription services. So I'm sure if I sign up for these subscription services, I could get a lot of them. A lot of them are available for purchase for like $10. So like, is it going to be the worst thing in the world if I do get rid of them? And then if I really want to replay them, I can buy them for $10. Like $10 isn't going to break the bank. I'm not going to be buying 10 games a month, maybe one every couple months. It's like, that's another part of this consideration of like, I could in theory still play them. I don't have to have the physical versions, but then I've spent thousands of dollars. So that's the whole thing. But just thinking about getting rid of them, I feel like it's a lot of progress, because for the longest time I was confident I would never ever be getting rid of them. But now I'm genuinely thinking about it. And so also I know Josh told me if I got rid of my PS, this is like my hack to getting rid of shit, is like make myself feel okay getting rid of it by giving it to Josh, because Josh will take it. And then me knowing it's always there just in case I want to go back to it. That could be the case with the video games. Like Josh has an Xbox, he wants a PS3, so if I give him my old one, he can use it, he can play with it, he can play all my games, he has all my games. Hold on, how much me? Hallie, I'm not home. Hold on. I don't want to stop this video. She's waiting for me at the all right, sorry, I put my phone down to text Hallie back, and I hit the like volume button so it stopped the recording, and then I was like, I gotta make this smoothie, so I'll just wait till I finish that, and then I'll fire this up again. But I was thinking, yeah, the video game thing, that's just a change that's an exciting change that I'm happy with. But no, that's, yeah, I kind of lost my train of thought there. But right now, like, I'm on a different balcony. Just making sure the cat doesn't get out. But like last time I did this, like I said, I was on a balcony, on the rooftop balcony at our apartment in Ottawa on Metcalf, 170 Metcalf. And now I'm sitting from our personal balcony in Toronto. It's a decent sized balcony as well. I'm just happy right now. Like I said, it's like a weird like push and pull with my own body right now. It's a weird push and pull with my own like brain right now. Like I'm so excited. Like I am genuinely excited and happy to be here. But it keeps like rejecting it in a weird way. It's like rejecting the change, and it's just so weird to try and wrap my head around how this works. It's like I'm out here now, I'm just looking at the view that we have, which is amazing. I'll show you. That's kind of like not cool. This view, which is awesome. Like I'm looking at this view and I'm just like genuinely happy and stoked to be here. And like I haven't seen the CN Tower today, which is kind of crazy. So I might go up to the roof just to look at it later because like I feel like that's important. Like just looking to CN Tower gives me life. I'm looking at this view just gets me excited and like just I'm happy to be here. But like over the last couple, I just haven't felt good in a weird way. I don't know how to explain this like dynamic that I'm kind of trying to figure out. But like it's just so cool to be here and to live here as well. Like it's just crazy. And like the gym that we were just in, like I obviously don't want to record at the gym. Very nice, very fancy. I want to spend more time. I was like, I need to extend my workout because I want to keep this going. But yeah, so obviously there's a lot of changes going on right now. There's the change, there's the podcast change, there's the life change, like where we're living change, there's the work change, which is different from last month when I did the update. I don't know how much I'm going to keep in there of the work update based off what I talked about last month. But I don't even know where to start. I think we're like 10 minutes in, so I don't even know if this is starting. But I think well, we can start with the work thing off the rip. So True Fans Surf offered me a promotion today, or actually 2 weeks ago. They emailed me about it. Then I had a call last week, and then I sent back like my like confirmation. I guess I'll do this today. And so it's the title is work in progress at the moment. We haven't settled on a title. I asked for social media, director of social media. We'll see what they say, but basically what they want me to do is they want me to oversee strategy across all brands and all channels. I will continue I make 4 videos a month right now for like the TikTok and the Instagram Reels. I will continue making those, but that'll be all the content I'm actually responsible for creating myself. The rest will be created right now. We have interns. They want to hire a growth manager. And they also have a graphics team, which can produce graphics. And so I'll kind of oversee, like I said, the overarching thing. I'll be doing the strategy, which is something I've really wanted to do for a while. I don't want to do the creating as much. Like I'm glad I'm sticking to these 4 videos because they're fun for me to make, but that's it. Like I don't think I'll be able to do beyond that. I'm also going to continue doing some stuff for writing some article stuff and also managing the Surf giveaways platform right now. So all of our internal giveaways that we launch to our community, I'll be responsible for figuring those out, getting those up and all those things. So with that comes the increase in title, comes the increase in pay, which is exciting. I'm still going to continue consulting / advising, however you want to call it, for Expense Monk. And we can cross that bridge when we get there with funding and things like that. But I think right now, in the meantime, I'm excited. I'm appreciative of Surf for giving me the opportunity to kind of to step up and do this. A little concern, like I sent them, basically today I sent them an email. I was like, yes, let's do this. Here's my concerns. My one concern is around the boundaries of the timing of doing everything. Like last time I did social media, I was like miserable because I didn't keep boundaries of when I should be checking and when I should be doing all of the things. So like I don't want to have to think I need to be on at 8:30 p.m. on a Sunday to check Twitter or Instagram. So my big thing to them is I was like, I want to make sure we are kind of like we have some solid hours for when I'm supposed to be doing this. I want to do 9 to 5. Not even cool to put in our bio that this is when the account is monitored. Just the expectations there internally with myself, with our consumers, with our customers, with our followers, whatever. Like I just want to make sure that's there. I asked them what kind of the plan is, like or when funding kicks in and we ratchet up influencer marketing, what happens then? Because I'm still kind of responsible for influencers, but we're not doing a ton right now. So it's like, but when we are, like what does that mean for me? Because this is a whole new role. So like I'm not trying to do 2 roles at once and do them both half-assed. I want to make sure I do one role well. And so I asked that question. I asked for the title change specifically. They said community manager because I'll be managing the whole community, which I understand. But I just feel like that title's like I just didn't like that title to a ton, if I'm being completely honest. So I pushed back and I pushed for the director title. So we'll see. I haven't heard back from them yet. On that. And other than that, it was just like a contingency. What happens if we don't have people in the fall? We're hoping to have people to help create content. Like I don't want it to get to a point where it's like me and one of the, like the graphics team trying to scrap content together for everything. So that was another concern that I had. But other than that, I was mainly just excited. Like it's awesome. Like it's cool that basically what they said is they've seen the work I've done and they want to they think I do hard work and they want to reward me for that hard work and they want to give me more responsibilities. So that's one thing which again, so that's the big work update right now. So with that, I'll continue consulting with Expense Monk right now and doing some part-time stuff with them. And just kind of seeing how that unfolds over time. But right now, in the meantime, surf is where the full time is going to remain, which I'm excited for. Like I said, I don't know, I think I said this last month, but if I did, I have so much belief in the product. I think the product is sick. I think the founders like Switch and Onic, I have an unbelievable amount of respect for. I think those guys have a lot of potential to be all time. And I'm excited to be able to work with them more. Like I like working with them. And Brian is our current marketing director. I think marketing director is his title. I don't know if it's going to become a CMO or something soon. Hopefully for him. It's good. I feel like him and his relationship has gotten better over time. Like it's never been bad, but it keeps getting better. And like we had a great call today. And so, I'm excited to keep working with those guys and like to kind of be able to not take a step back. I'm definitely working a lot more than I am now. But like be able to oversee more than I can work on and not in, if that makes sense, which I'm really excited for, to kind of see how that goes. So that's the work update. Very excited for work. And yeah, that's the work update. I'll kind of keep you posted on that as that progresses. I don't know exactly when this full transition is going to take place. I'm assuming in the next couple of weeks. But let's not like tomorrow, like there's still some stuff that's got to be worked out. So that is the work update. I said that like 3 times, but that's what's going on with work. Then on top of that, of course, there's the Creator Now stuff, which is going to continue happening. So I kind of want to walk through the trip day by day, if that's cool with you. Like, I just had an unbelievable time. And I almost feel like I had like a lull when I got home. And I think it was my body just rejecting any and all, my body, my brain, whatever, rejecting all change and all, like anything that's out of the ordinary. And LA was like a part of that. Like I got home and I was like, it was fun, but like when I go back, like obviously I would go back. I had an unbelievable time. But I think my brain just was like the move and everything. I was just like, whoa. It was just trying to push back on everything. It was like, oh, you don't like Toronto, oh, you don't like LA. And not the case. I absolutely love Toronto. I had one of the best times of my life in Los Angeles. And like today, Hallie and I watched one of Eric's new video with dinner. And I was like, man, I want to go back. And like I'm glad to have felt that feeling because like I think it wasn't like a real feeling. It was like a weird like there's too much change happening right now. But yeah, so LA was unreal. So kind of like I was gonna walk through you. Obviously the trip started with the nightmare delay of 2 hours. I was like running through Pearson because I cleared customs like 5 minutes before the gate closes. I'm running through the gate, through the terminal, trying to get to my gate. I get there, I get on, and we sit for 2 hours before we could leave. So that was sick. But then I finally got there. It was still like noon, so it wasn't too bad. I'm standing like right in front of the control tower, which I've seen so many photos of. I'm like, this is already sick. And then yeah, Kate picked me up in her convertible, which will come back into play later in this story. She picked up at her convertible, and then she took me right away. She's like on a call, doing her call, like working on the product, weaving in and out of traffic. I'm like whipping around. But like LA drivers are insane, so it's understandable. And then she took me to this cool breakfast or cool sandwich shop. I got this like steak sandwich thing. It was fire. It was very good. Then from there, she took me into the office. Just kind of sat me at Zach's desk. I hung out. As soon as I sit there, Neve was upstairs, and she's like, Neve, guess who's here? And he guessed Aviva, who was moving from Israel to LA to work with Creator Now. He guessed Aviva, and she's like, nope. And then he was like, Jacob Kelly. And then he came like running downstairs, and I got to meet Neve, who was just an unbelievable human being. And I was so stoked to meet him, and we had a good time with Neve. Yes, hugged it out, chatted with Neve for a bit. Then I kind of sat at Zach's desk. I was working on prepping for an interview that didn't end up happening, so I didn't actually do full prep. So like prepping for this interview, and then Kate was like, I don't think we're getting that guy. And then we went back and forth, and we weren't exactly sure. And I did some more prep for someone else we did end up getting. And then everyone kind of slowly trickled out of the office. I think I got there at like 1:30, and then around 7, Kate was like, yo, what do you want to do? Like, do you want me to just drop you off? Do you want me to just kind of let you do your thing? Do you want to go for dinner? Like, what do you want to do? And I was like, let's go for dinner. Like, I don't know anybody here. I have literally I made 0 plans for the trip. Like my entire intent of going to Los Angeles was to do as good a job with these interviews as I possibly could. I had no intent of seeing anybody, seeing anything. I like sent a couple of messages. I was like, yo, let's hang out when I'm in LA, but like no like concrete plans. Like anytime someone tried to set something up, I'd be like, well, let me see my itinerary first, because I want to make sure I have time to prep. I want to make sure we got the interviews locked in. So I literally had zero plan for Los Angeles. So all that to say, when Kate was like, what do you want to do? I was like, yeah, that's cool. Let's go for dinner. So she took me to this sick burger spot, and we had like an awesome chat. Like, I think, yeah, like I think we just like, I get along so well with Kate. And so we were there, and we had an unbelievable chat just about like life and creativity and art, and like it was awesome. And the burgers were unreal. And then from there, she just took me to my Airbnb and she dropped me off. The Airbnb was cute. It was nice. It was the back of someone's house. There may have been a two-way mirror, but that's just a minor detail. So that was that. And then Kate also told me that day too. She's like, "Yo, when because I was like, what time does everyone get to the office?" And she was like 9 a.m. But don't come in for 9. Like, take some time, see the things, just hang out, like chill. Just don't come in for 9. We have a production meeting at noon. That's the big thing to be in for. But other than that, like, just do your thing. See LA, have a minute, take some time. Which was, I'm appreciative of that. And I did take that time, and I did have a moment on that, couple moments where I was like, to appreciate where I was because I took that time. So I'm very glad she told me to do that. And so the next morning I woke up, first thing I stepped outside, it's raining outside. And so I was like, oh shit, it's raining in LA. So I put a sweater on. As soon as I got the sweater on, it stopped raining, of course. But it was like, LA's like cool weather. It's like hot, but it's not hot. It's not like muggy hot. It's not humid hot. It's just like heat. I don't know. Dry heat, that's the word. It's like, with my sweater on that morning walk was like perfect weather. And so I just walked through Santa Monica, like whatever, like the part of Santa Monica I was in. It was like a nice, kind of like a residential area, but there's like palm trees everywhere. It was so sick. So I went for this walk. I was like a 30-minute walk to the beach. So I walked all the way down. I took this awesome picture of these like palm trees. My street was just gorgeous. It's unbelievable. Everywhere, Santa Monica is by far and away my favorite part of LA that I've seen thus far. But everywhere you look, it's just like palm trees and gorgeous. And just my street, I walked out of my Airbnb and I was like, holy shit. And I took a picture on my camera, which I posted on my Instagram. I took a picture of my Polaroid, which I haven't developed yet, and I so want to see it. But I have like 13 pictures left, so I think I'm going to save them for Hallie's birthday. I don't think she's here. She's not here. I think we're going to go to Niagara. I found shuttles we can take there and back, so maybe we'll do a day or a hotel or something. So maybe we'll do that for her birthday, and I'll bring the disposable there, or I'll take it to New Brunswick when we go to New Brunswick. Either way. So yeah, everywhere's gorgeous. So I get there, I like get to the, like, not a beach, but like this, like up on the cliff, and I'm like looking down the beach, and I found a way down to the beach, and I was just walking along the beach, and I was on the beach. I just took a moment to like appreciate the fact that I was in Los Angeles. I was doing my thing. I'm not here on a vacation. I'm here because a company thought I was good enough to host their podcast. They flew me out to do it. And I was like, man, we're here. We're in Los Angeles. It was crazy. And then I threw on some Tom Petty because I've been really listening to Jimmy Iovine lately, and like listening to him as like interviews and stuff. I was listening to a lot of Jimmy Iovine interviews, and when he first went to LA in the 70s, he produced Tom Petty's Damn the Torpedoes album. And so I threw on that album because that was the first album Jimmy worked on when he got to LA, and I was like, you know what, I'm on the beach right now. Let me throw these headphones on and just rock out for a minute. So I listened to a little bit of Damn the Torpedoes, and I walked along the beach. Then I got up onto the pier, and so I turned it off when I was up on the pier, and I was kind of enjoying the moment. Again, I took a self-timer photo. I just spent some time. Nothing, like the pier, it was early, like probably like 8:45, 9, so nothing was really open yet. But I took some pictures on the pier, and then I went down, and I went to the original Muscle Beach, which there was swings, which if you watch the vlog, I am swinging in the vlog. I'm also 100,000% in the background of this like European couple's TikTok. Like, she was like trying to do cute things on the swing, and like he was recording her, and I'm in the background like pumping, trying to get up onto, just trying to get some momentum for my own vlog. So there's definitely a TikTok or a TikTok blooper somewhere where I just look absolutely ridiculous in the background trying to get a swing to work. But it is what it is. And then I just kind of wandered on the beach a little more. I found this like patch of grass I was sitting on, like a plane flew by, and there was like more palm trees, and I was like, where am I right now? This is unbelievable. And so I just kind of like hung out there for a minute. I tried not to go on the beach. I didn't swim or anything. Obviously, I didn't even to watch my stuff. I didn't want to get sand in my shoes. I did anyways when I was on the swings, but whatever. And then I had some more time to kill. So I was like, you know what, I had a mission. I was like, I'm going to get an acai bowl, because when I worked for OSEC for the sports teams in Ottawa, Tyler Rabb, who was like the Red Blacks social media guy when I first started, he and a good dude, a very good dude at that.
he did a Pacific Coast Highway road trip my first year, and he came back and he was like, "Yo, the acai bowls in California are unbelievable. You got to try them. They're so good." And so right after that, I went to like Raw Pulp and Grind, which I think doesn't exist in Ottawa anymore, but it was like an acai smoothie bowl place. So I went there, not bad, it was good. But I had in my mind some these acai bowls, and so I was like, I'm on a mission. Let me find an acai bowl place. I found this spot I really liked. I was like, yeah, let me go to this place. On my way, I walked past another acai bowl place, and then I had like a decision. I was like, should I go to this place? Should I go to Backyard Bowls? This one's right here. Backyard Bowls, like another 10 minutes. I was like, no, I'm committed to Backyard Bowls. So I made the trek out to Backyard Bowls, and it's called the Island Bowl, and it was like unbelievable. And there's like fruit in there I don't normally eat, like blueberries I don't normally eat. Strawberries I'll put in a smoothie, but I won't eat straight up. There was like honey and coconut shavings and oats and acai berries and like all these things, and it was unbelievable. Like, it was so good. Like, I keep thinking about this damn bowl. I paid like 20 Canadian dollars for it. I would do it again. I will definitely, whenever I'm back in Los Angeles, I'm getting it again. Getting another one. It was unreal. And it was when I was eating that acai bowl that I took another moment. I was like, this is something I've wanted. I've wanted one of these acai bowls for so long, but I've also just wanted to be in LA. I've also wanted to be flown out to do interviews and be recognized for the work I put in. And it's all happening right now, and I'm eating this acai bowl, and it's one of the most fresh fruit things I've ever eaten. There's a fucking palm tree right here. Like, I was like, this is crazy. And I took another moment just to kind of appreciate where I was, just enjoy the acai bowl, like focus on the flavors. It was so good. Oh my God, I want it again. Anyways, and I will have it again. But from there, I went into the office from there, just kind of hung out for a minute. Then we had our production meeting, and mainly the production meeting was like, here's kind of who we have for guests right now. Where are we getting our gear? Because we need to shoot this. And so basically we were going to use Eric's gear, but Eric ended up using all of his gear. They were filming, so we couldn't use their gear because they needed it. So we had no gear, so we last minute, we rented everything. Neve went and picked it up. And then after the production meeting, JT Barnett actually came through to the office. Him and I have been texting for a while. I met him briefly at VCon. Like, he's been on the show a couple times. We've had a couple calls, and we got to meet in person for the first time at VCon. It wasn't very long, so he came through to the office, and we hung out there for a little while. And yeah, it was good to meet him in person. Proper meet him. Like, we dapped up at VCon. We talked for like a couple minutes another time. But for the most part, like an actual proper sit down. We had a good chat. It was really good to. I'm appreciative that he just came through to the office too. That was sick. Also glad that everyone at Creator Now let him. I mean, most people knew who he was already, so it wasn't a big deal. But like, did they let me just have people through to the office? And he came through. Then after he left, and then I started prepping for another interview that I had. I was like sitting in this like beanbag chair that I've seen a lot. Every time I've done a lot of calls with like Kate and Eve. Oftentimes someone's sitting in this beanbag chair, and so I took a turn and sat in the beanbag chair, and I prepped. I think it was for my interview with Jelly. I think it was my Jelly interview. It might have been the Stephen He interview, actually. One of the two, I can't remember. So I prepped for that interview, and then like Zach came upstairs. I'm going to chat with Zach, chat with Kate, and went back and forth on more potential names for the podcast and who we could get. Went back and forth for a while, and then after that, I just went back to work, kind of hung out a little bit, and then Neve came back with the gear, so I saw Neve. I also, on this day as well, met Zach Chowkey, who's just rad. He's their VP of Partnerships. Unbelievable dude as well. That's the thing. Everybody at this company, at Creator Now, is just a dope fucking individual. Like, they're all so sick, and like I could all spend time with every single person I met. And that includes One Day Entertainment as well, the management company. Everybody at all these companies are just awesome. Like, I could spend time with each one of them individually, and they'd be totally fine. Sorry, don't want to lose that off the balcony. But yeah, and Chowkey. So Chowkey and you came back with the gear. We went outside. As we went outside to get the gear, Aviva was coming up the stairs to come inside. So I met Aviva. She's also super rad. Like, I don't know where they keep finding awesome people, but they do. Then went out, we got the gear, we checked it out, it was all good. And after that, went back inside, kept working. And then from there, after that, we went to dinner. So, because Aviva had just came to town, I was in town. Zach and Kate took us to dinner, so we went to this place. I can't remember what it was called. It was in Venice, though. We drove with Zach there, drove past. I think that's when I might have got my cold, too. He had a cold. He was getting over a cold when I got there. But we went to Venice. We drove past. I got the little tour of, like, here's the original One Day office. This is called the Samir spot. This is where the Yes House was, and just all pointing all these little, like, I got like the creator economy tour of Venice, which was kind of cool. Drove past Gold's Gym, parked the car, went to this restaurant. It was rad. We shared these plates. I tried like caramelized Brussels sprouts, which is totally not my jam, but again, so good. The bread there was awesome. We did, for dinner, we had like curry chicken, I think it was, lemon chicken, a New York steak, and this like fettuccine Alfredo, like pesto Alfredo something. It was like green sauce with shrimp. I ate the shrimp. I was just eating everything I don't normally eat, and it was all so good. So we did that. That was a great dinner. And at one point, someone like shot fireworks off. And from my like traumatic experience of the drive-by shooting in Minneapolis, I like jumped so bad both times. It happened twice. And the first time, like I freaked out, and everyone's like, "It's just fireworks." And it happened again. I jumped again. But yeah, I don't know how much of this background noise you can hear, but there's like a cop going by, so I'm just gonna kind of let him go. Anyways, dinner was awesome. Zach drove me home. We had a good chat about like life and business and stuff on the way back, which is cool. That like I just genuinely think Zach's gonna go down as an all-timer. So the fact that I had these moments with him is sick. He had a great chat about like life and business. He dropped me off, and then I just kind of went back in my Airbnb, crashed. Actually, I was coming back in, and I was like trying to vlog it, and I hear hello, and I look over, and my host is like smoking a cigarette on her balcony. Didn't even realize she was there. She also didn't know who. Like she knew Kate booked the Airbnb. It was under Kate's name. She's like, it's not me staying here, it's somebody else. Like this woman had no idea who was staying in her home. It was me. I said what's up. Then I went into my sorry, it's like a weird looking plane. Anyways, I went into my Airbnb, crashed out, had to be up early to shower everything because that was Wednesday. Thursdays, that was Tuesday. Tuesday. Wednesday was day 2, and then Thursday was day 3. That was our first day of VidCon, and so I had to be up early and out the door at like 7:30 because Benji was picking me up, and Benji's kind of who's like running point at One Day Entertainment right now. So Benji picked me up with Aviva and James. James is a summer intern. Aviva, of course, who moved from Israel. She's their UX designer and creator now. They picked me up, and first stop was this like La La Land, which was like this cafe, which is like the most LA cafe. It was gorgeous. Everything there is gorgeous. It's wild. But this is like super Instagrammable cafe. I got a croissant. I think that was it. And like a water. It was like a croissant with ham and cheese. And it was so good. So good and gorgeous are themes, I guess, of this trip. But unbelievable. And then we jumped in the car. We drove like the hour and a bit. Hour 20 probably to Anaheim. We're pulling into VidCon, and I get a call from Neve. And he's like, "Where are you guys?" I'm like, "Oh, we're here." He's like, "Come to lot 4." I was like, "Okay, we're like 5 minutes away." We were actually right there, pulling in lot 4. And Neve's like, "Okay, just look for me. I'm jumping." And I'm like looking, and I see Neve on his phone jumping like this. Then he hops in the car. He kind of directs us through into where he's parked. And so it was like 9 o'clock. Our first podcast was with Eric at 9:30. And so we have to get all this gear inside, set up in half an hour. We got to check in. And so we are like lugging this stuff through the parking garage, through the convention center. I had like a light box. And I also had to bring my backpack because I checked out of the Airbnb because I only had it for 2 nights. And so I ended up staying with Danny DeSatnik. Shout out to Danny and #paid. I stayed in that hotel because he had an extra bed. He's a homie. He's a mutual friend of Kate and I. So Kate just called him, was like, "Yo, can Jacob stay with you?" And he was like, "Of course." So I had my backpack with like my laptop, my iPad, everything in it. I had my Good Life bag, which had all my clothes in it. And then I'm carrying a light box. I'm carrying a tripod. I think I had something else. And I was trying to like vlog it at the same time. This was heavy shit. This was heavy. And so we're running to the convention center, trying to get in. They couldn't find me originally on the list. And then luckily, like Eric wasn't already in. Like he was kind of like checking in at the same time as we were. And so he was there like scouting a new video that they had coming. That they were going to be filming the next day. That's what they were there for, and that's why we ultimately got the podcast on there. And so we're all kind of checking in at the same time. I finally get in. I'm with Aviva, stayed with me, and then Aviva couldn't get in. Like she got her pass but couldn't get in. I got in but couldn't get my pass. The whole thing. finally we get in. Kate calls us trying to find us. Kate comes out of the backstage. She finds us. We kind of meet up with Kate. Then we walk all the way down. We go backstage and start setting up. And I'm like kind of going through. And then I realized too, like the Wi-Fi here is so bad. I don't know how to get my notes onto my iPad. What happened was Google Drive. There was Wi-Fi, but it was so bad that I couldn't get my Google Drive to update. It had needed an update in order to open, and I couldn't get the update on my iPad because the Wi-Fi was so slow. So I couldn't get access to my notes. So I'm panicking now because I've always used my notes. And so basically, what I ended up doing is I was like, I was screenshotting every single page and like airdropping it to the iPad. And then I realized I could just export it as a PDF on my phone and airdrop the whole PDF on my phone, which is what I did. And I ended up doing for all ensuing interviews. And Eric comes through. I also didn't think you'd recognize me because I hosted a panel for Creator Now a couple months ago. And I basically saw an aspect, did Eric know you? And I was like, well, I host this panel, but I would be surprised if he could pick me out of a line. And he walks in, he goes, yo, what's going on, man? Like, you're the guy from the panel. Like, you recognize me instantly. And I was like, that's really cool. That's like, just, I appreciate that. So I met him. I met Mac as well. And we were sitting there, kind of going through the notes. I have the notes. And I was like, oh shit, like, what are we going to do for the intro? It's like, Kate, what should I do for the intro? And Eric was like, what the fuck is up, YouTube? And then there was like this like coffee table from us. He's like, and then you flip the table. That's your thing. You flip the table. And so then I like did a practice dry run of what the fuck is up, YouTube. And Mac was like, angrier. Did it again. We just kind of sat on like, what's going on? Welcome back to the pod. Welcome back to the Process by Creator Now. I didn't introduce myself once in any of the 7 interviews we did. I feel like that's something I should be doing because I should be building, not like to flex myself or to like whatever, like just to build a rapport with the audience so they know who I am. But yeah, the man to my left requires no introduction, but just in case you need one, his name's Eric Decker. You might know him as Eric. He has over 8 million subscribers on YouTube. Yeah, pretty much it. And let me just get into the podcast. And it was so interesting. So I had all my notes, but like the energy was good with Eric. And like he was like sitting forward and I was sitting forward and like we were holding pretty solid eye contact. And so looking down, I kind of sat like, I was sitting in the chair and I had my iPad, like my notes like on this leg, but I was facing this way. And so trying to like get my notes, I looked down at my notes, it broke the eye contact and broke the energy. So I didn't do that. But because I did the notes, because I took time to do the prep and I watched so many videos and I listened to so many videos, I knew him so well and I knew his content so well that we could have a nuanced conversation about it. And I didn't really need to look at my notes. Like I think there was like 12, 15 minutes left in the interview. I locked my iPad, I put it behind me because like I don't need this anymore. Which was so, it's like, I feel like, and this is gonna sound arrogant and I know that, but like I feel like I hit another level of my abilities as, not another level, that sounds really shitty, but I feel like maybe I hit another level. I developed as an interviewer on this trip. Like I have never been able to do an interview like that where I'm putting my notes away and I'm not even really looking at them. But I did that. And I did it with Eric and it went so well and like we connected really well. The conversation was good. I asked him a couple of questions. Like one thing I know he's big on right now and trying to figure out more is viewer satisfaction. He was telling me he's trying to increase the low part. Like when it comes to your average view duration, everyone always looks at the high point, like how can I make the high point longer? Eric's doing the reverse. He's looking at the lowest point of his retention. He goes, those are my diehard fans. Hey, what? I can't hear you. Anyways, he's saying he's looking at the low part of his retention and he goes, those are my diehard fans. And so he's trying to increase the lowest part of his retention because all the people that are watching the end of your diehard fans, it's like, is that how you measure viewer satisfaction? He was like, I never thought of that. Maybe that's an interesting question, something along those lines. So I was able to ask, like, I was able to have a conversation with him where I was like, not on his level, obviously, because there's like nobody on his level when it comes to YouTube and stuff, but like in a way that like he could kind of nerd out about it. And that was really cool. And again, I didn't use the notes and I was still able to have a nuanced conversation. I haven't listened back to any of it yet, which is crazy. Like I kind of want to. I never listen to my social life after I'm done editing and stuff, but I haven't heard this at all. So I'm curious to like listen back to it and see how it went. We were also dealing with, so the stage was behind the For You stage, was like TikTok stage. So there was like, when I'm recording with Eric, I don't know who was on stage, but they had a ton of like teenage girl fans and everyone, so much screaming. Eric and I are like screaming at each other to do this interview. But apparently the lab mics did pick it up. So apparently the audio sounds good, but the conversation, from what I could tell, went really, really well. Kate said, she's like, I couldn't hear anything, but like the energy looked really good. The rapport looked good, which is all I wanted. It's like the Eric interview was the most important one to me I wasn't nervous for it, but I just knew it had to go really, really well because he obviously is a co-founder of the company. And this is a podcast that's going to, by extension, like Creator Now is an extension of his brand. So this podcast is an extension of Creator Now, which is like not an extension of his brand, but like it's an extension of the company it's an extension of his brand, if that makes sense. So obviously he needs to be comfortable in what we're doing and in me as a host. And I think I was able to do that. He seemed to enjoy himself. He seemed to be content with the interview. So that went really well. And after that, so we wrapped up with Eric and then ZHC that rolls through, who I did prep for. And he was there for like 2 minutes, and Kate was like, "Okay, look, here's the deal. ZHC's here. We're going to run a podcast with ZHC. I got to leave." She had to go speak on stage. So she's like, "But just let me know how it goes with ZHC." And I was like, "Okay, sick." And then she leaves, and then I look over, and ZHC also leaves. So we had no interview. I was like, okay. And then this guy cooking and grilling with AB, he was like a barbecuer. He's from California, but he moved to LA. He's like one of Spotter's creators. They're like, "Yo, can you interview this guy?" And I was like, "I guess so. I have no prep, but we're going to do it." And again, it's another one with a lot of solid podcasts. It was a good interview with no prep at all. I knew nothing about him coming in other than the fact that he did barbecuing. That was pretty much it. That, and I looked at his channel quickly to look at his thumbnails. That was all I did. And again, it went really, really well. And I didn't really look at my notes a lot, which is weird. But like, I think doing the interview with Eric and realizing I didn't need my notes a ton for it gave me a lot of confidence going into this interview with AB that even though I didn't know a ton, like I'll be able to do this. And I did, and it went well. And like what I noticed too in that interview, and like I also was doing it with Eric, is like I'm able to input what they're saying, understand it in a way like an interviewer, like, and I'm not just, and by no means, why is it so loud? Sorry. But basically, I'm able to take what they're saying. I'm able to understand it, not just like a reporter who's just ask them questions. Like I'm able to understand what they're saying from a YouTuber perspective to an extent, not fully, but like I'm able to digest what they're saying, spin it, put a different angle on it, and throw it back to them, and they appreciate that, I think. And I was able to do that with Eric. I was able to do that with AB, and so the AB interview went really well. One of the stand-up moments for me was that like because basically he would say a whole long tangent, and I would kind of distill it down to like a concise form. Like one of them he was talking about like when people are looking at his thumbnails, they're not looking at it because his face isn't in any of his thumbnails. And so he's saying like they're not looking for my face, they're looking for what the food's going to look like. And so I was like, that's interesting. Like the intent of the viewer is different from your videos versus someone like a Mr. Beast. And he was like, yeah, that's exactly what I'm trying to say. And so another good interview with Cook and Grow with AB. And then after that, Kate came back, the podcast wrapped up. We didn't have anything else. Jelly was our last one. Jelly has 22 million subscribers. He's posted 2 videos a day every day for the last 5 years for the most part. So he was getting in at 5, so we had nothing. And so we were going to drop my bags and get some food. And then Kate picked up one of my bags. And I was like, yo, you can give me my bag back. Like, I can carry a bag. And she was like, no, you're the talent. And she was only half kidding. She was mainly kidding. But there was a little bit of not kidding in there as well. And which was weird. Like, they wouldn't let me set up. It was, like, so weird to, like, not be the talent. Like, that sounds pompous. I think that's what pompous means. But it was just cool. It was, like, a different vibe. It was, like, because I'm there to do a job. You know, like I'm actually there to do a job, and that job is to interview people, which is wild. But yeah, she like wouldn't let me carry my bag for a while, which that was funny. And then we met up with Danny, and then Danny was also with Justin Moore, who I've had on my social life, who's just a good dude. So I got to meet Justin in person. And then from there, we went and grabbed food. And after we grabbed food, I went and dropped my bags at Danny's room with Danny. And then from there, Danny had a meeting, and I was going to go with him to this meeting. But he had like a industry pass. I had a creator pass, so I couldn't get up in rooms on the 3rd floor for some reason because I didn't have the pass. So Danny was like, so the security wouldn't let me go to the meeting with Danny. So I was like, whatever, Danny, don't worry about it. I go back downstairs. I run into Kate, Neve, and Zach Chowkey, and I had to go to the bathroom. So I go to the bathroom. I'll catch up with you guys right after. I'm in the bathroom. The alarm starts going off. I don't know why. I still to this day, someone just pulled the fire alarm. But someone was like pranking me or something. They weren't. So I left, wandered around outside for a little bit. I couldn't find anybody. And then I went back inside, getting closer to the time for the Jelly podcast. And then I ran into Joey Kidney. Joey Kidney had a Stay You booth at the floor at VidCon. So I ran into him. And we chatted. We had a good chat for a while. And then he has the Happy Hoodie, which is a hoodie I've wanted for a while. Like since I've had him on my show and I learned about his Happy Hoodie, like it's one I've had my eye on. And so he's there with his Stay You, like he's there with his clothing booth, not as like an influencer. And he was like, yo, like, what hoodie do you want? Like, just let me know. And I was like, oh, yeah, I definitely want to support. Like, I'll take one of the happy hoodies. How much are they? And he goes, oh, no, like, just to have. Like, I'm going to give it to you. Like, you need to buy it. And I was like, oh, let me support. I want to. And he's like, no. So he goes back to the back, grabs me a happy hoodie. He goes, it's a large. This is probably too big. Take it for now. If you have time tomorrow, I'll come back and I'll give you a medium because I'm getting more tomorrow. I was like, okay, cool. Thank you, man. And so I, if you want to be in the background of that. But actually, let's do it this way. There we go. I'm trying to angle it so you're not in it. No, I got it. But yeah, and so then, wait, are you in this stuff? Where do I have to sit? Is this pole in it? Anyways, so I say what's up to Jordan, then I go backstage to the spotter lounge, and then Jelly rolls in. So we sat down, we did the podcast with Jelly, and that went really, really well. Again, I think a lot of these creators weren't expecting a conversation where they can go deep on their own creativity and on their own process, which I really thought was interesting. So we were able to kind of give that to them, where it's not like your typical press junket. It's like a proper interview and talking about what you want to talk about. So Kate was saying her goal with this podcast is to make it a place where creators want to come and talk. Like, it's not just another interview they have to do. And I think we're slow. Like, this was a good first step in that direction with these interviews that we did. So we got the Jelly interview. We knocked that one out. Again, it went well. I think Neve really liked that one. Like, I walked away going, yeah, it went not too bad. But Neve was like stoked on that one more than the Eric one, which is interesting. Like, everyone's going to react to the interviews differently. So Neve really liked that one. And then after that, we went to a party because JT was throwing a party at this restaurant. It was like invite only. It was co-sponsored by Danny from #Paid. So we went to that event, had a good time, met some cool people there. Met Daniel Wall, who we were having on the podcast the next day. So many names that are blanking on all of them right now. But it was dope. The party was great. Kind of shut the party down because Danny was a host, so I was going to stay in Danny's room, and I wasn't going to leave and like go to his hotel without him. So I waited for Danny, which I had no problem doing. The food there was good too. They weren't like burritos. I don't even know what they were. They were some food. Taquitos maybe. Unbelievable. Unreal. Everything is unbelievable, unreal, and delicious and amazing in Los Angeles, apparently. Yeah, so I went to the party, walked back with Danny, had a good chat, crashed out. Next morning, I got up. Danny got up before me, and then I was like, I want to go to a coffee shop or a cafe, Like, I just love that for some reason. Not realizing where we were in Anaheim was all resorts and hotels. So there was nothing around. So I ended up spending like $13 on an average breakfast sandwich from like the Hilton's Cafe, which I walked 15 minutes each way to get to. But whatever it was. Then from there, I somehow got inside the venue. Like, I got in, and like Kate had an all access pass. Everyone had creator passes. No one else got in. I don't know if I just walked past places where security didn't happen to be at that time, but I walked right in the front door. Security waited me in there, and I didn't run into security anywhere else. And I just walked straight backstage, and no one else could get in for some reason. So I was backstage. I was prepping for the interview that we had with Daniel Wall, because we had one coming up that day. And then we were just bang on the Friday. We started at 9 a.m. with, was it 9 a.m.? No, it was 10 a.m. 10 a.m. right off the bat, ZHC came back, so I got to the interview with ZHC, which Kate was really stoked on. She said he opened up a lot in the interview. When, like, he's a very shy guy, so what we were able to get out of him was really, really good. So very happy to hear that they were happy with the ZHC interview. I was also happy with that. That went really well. It was cool to talk to him. He was, I think, the biggest creator we spoke to. He had 24 million subscribers. And so that was sweet. And so ZHC 10 to 11, then 11 to 12, or it was like 10 to 10:45, 11 to 11:45. ZHC rolled in, and then Stephen He rolled in, who's like the guy who blew up for other reasons, but got mega viral with his emotional damage meme. So he came on the podcast, chat with him. His energy was through the roof. Awesome guy, awesome energy. And so yeah, it's Stephen He on, and then Stephen He right after him, so he was 11 to 11:45. JT Barnett came on at 12 to 12:30. It was just a 30-minute interview. But JT's interview was interesting because I've interviewed JT twice, so I can't fall back on my standard questions with JT because I've already talked about that with him. And I'm not just here to do another interview with him again, like the same interview again. So I freestyled JT with zero prep, zero notes to even fall back on for half an hour. And it went well. Like, he seemed to enjoy the interview. I got him with a couple good questions. And so he was very happy with that. So the JT interview went well. And then right after JT from 12:30 to 1:15-ish was Daniel Wall. And the Daniel Wall podcast went well. And I had a really good chat with Daniel Wall. After, he actually has family in Ottawa, which is cool because he asked me where I'm from. A lot of people did. And basically it was like, I live in Ottawa right now, which is like 4 hours from Toronto, but I'm moving to Toronto when I get home. He goes, oh, I know Ottawa. And so Daniel Wall and I, we had a really good chat on the podcast and after the podcast. And then after that, so we finally tore down. We got everything done. We go back. We're walking back to. We're gonna go try and get lunch or something. So we're all hungry. It's like after 1 o'clock at this point. We get in, and also I forgot to mention Eric's having a housewarming party when I was there. And I just like someone mentioned to me he's got a new house, so I was just, hey, yo, congratulate. So I mentioned when I did the interview with Eric, like, yo, congratulations, I heard you got a new house. He goes, oh, thank you, I'm having a housewarming party. You should totally come on Friday night. I was like, okay, sweet. And so I was planning to go to this housewarming party, and the housewarming party changed dates like 100 times. It was originally going to be Sunday, and then it was going to be Saturday. And I was like, well, I can kind of go for an hour on Saturday, and then it's like Sunday again, and then they moved it to Friday. And I was like, well, fuck, I can go if it's on Friday. So I was pumped. We get into the podcast, we run into Benji and James, and they were just like, yeah, party might be getting moved. And I was like, what? Because Eric had gotten in a little bit of trouble. I don't know how much trouble I can say, but they broke into VidCon with 100. They hired 100 security guards and broke into VidCon, and then got detained pretty much by security and stuff. And so they were dealing with that. We weren't sure if the party was going to go on. They got out. Everything was fine, but the party was still on. And so I went over after that. Kate and I, we grabbed some food, and then we went over to a hotel just off site where the guys were like all of Eric's team except for Eric. Eric ended up jumping in with Jimmy, with Mr. Beast. They were doing something, but then so it was like Mac and Tyler and Maxwell and Hayden were all there, and Mac was drinking a beer, and so was Tyler, and I was like, a much needed beer. And they're like, yeah, after the morning they had, yeah. We chatted with them for a while, and then Kate had a meeting. I wanted to drop my hoodie off to Joey and exchange it, so Kate ran to her meeting. I ran to Joey and swapped the hoodie out, had another good conversation with him for like another probably 20, 30 minutes. And then I was going to try and find my buddy Stone, who I've had on my podcast, who was there, but it just didn't end up working out, so I didn't see Stone. So after Joey, I ran back to my hotel with grabbed my stuff, was running down. Kate texted me. She was actually in the lobby of our hotel, so I didn't have to go and try and find her, and it was complicated. Also, I was vlogging. This is when I really set in, like, my vlogging confidence went up a lot in LA. So I was there, and I was vlogging the whole trip, and it was like when I'm walking through this lobby, the lobby is crowded, and I'm like fully armed up vlogging in public, and I was like, whoa, the vlogging confidence is up here. So that was cool. Then from there, Kate and I, we drove back to LA from Anaheim, which took us like an hour and a half-ish. We were going to go to Eric's party. The timing was kind of awkward. We didn't have time to go anywhere, but we were too early to go to Eric's. So she's like, can you just come like hang out at my house for like half an hour? So we went to her house for a little bit and just hung out. And then from there, we were driving to the party, and she was like, yo, actually, hold on. She was like, so we were driving to the party, and she's like, actually, one sec. And then she like cranks the wheel over. She jumps on to Sunset Boulevard. So she takes me down Sunset Boulevard. I get to see all the things. I got to see the Comedy Store, which is really cool for me. So we drove down Sunset. And then we drove through the hills on the way to Eric's house. Like, it was a big detour, like up in like Beverly Hills area. So we're driving past all the fancy cars, all the mansions, up and down and around. And I was like, this is crazy. There's one point like the sun starts to set, and we come up over this hill, and it's like perfect golden hour through the trees. And I was like, that's a core memory. And so we rolled through there, and that was really, really cool. And we got to the party, and the party was dope. I texted my little cousin, I texted Tyler, and I also texted my brother. Because Jimmy, like Mr. Beast, was at the party, and they thought that was really cool. But he kind of just like was off in the corner doing his own thing. I'm like, I'm not gonna like force my way in there and say what's up to him. Like, I was like, if it happens, it happens. But I'm not gonna press for this. I also know that with this podcast, like, I'll get the chance to interview him properly. So I'm not really worried about, I'm not worried about trying to just say hi to him for 2 seconds at this party and like come across as a fan. So it's important to me to come across as a peer, not a fan, which I think I was able to do this weekend or on that week in LA. But I did end up meeting Jimmy very briefly. I was standing in like, there was like a burrito stand basically where you could go get burritos and tacos, and he like just showed up next to me. And how he like recognized the guy. He was like, I've talked to you before, Jimmy, right? And it was like 2 Jimmys. And then he like looks at me and I was just like, 1 second. Yo, Ozzy's on top of the shit. Sorry. So he was like, oh, and he like maybe I was like, oh, hey Jacob, and I put my hand to shake his hand, and he gave me a fist bump, and then I switched to a fist bump, and he switched to a handshake, and then he was like, I'm awkward, and then grabbed my hand and shook it and left. And he also told me his name was Jimmy, which is nice. You know, like, you know what I mean? Like, one of the biggest people in the world was like, oh, hey, my name's Jimmy, and I was like, I think everybody knows that, but again, just trying to come across as a peer and not a fan, which is important. It's also like I'm also don't view myself as like a big YouTuber fan, which is probably makes it easier for me to do that. But yeah, so just hung out at this party, had a good time with everybody, and then said bye. Made some friends there. Shout out to Mateo and Hugo from Jelly Smack. They were dope. Talked to Jimmy Darts. I think his name's Jimmy Darts. There's so many names and so many people. Preston was another person I met at the party. He was really nice. There was some random, like, they got pizza from somewhere. I don't know where, but it apparently was like really old. And so Hugo from Jelly Smack went and grabbed some pizza, and he was like, that was gross. It was like old pizza. And I'm standing there talking to Jimmy Darts, and this random TikToker who I recognize but I don't know his name comes up to me, and he's like, yo bro, don't eat the pizza. I don't, it's gross. And he like threw it in the garbage, like took off. But yeah, and so party was sick. I got to go. It was a beautiful house that he lives in. And after that, Kate and I left just before midnight. She drove me back to my hotel, and that was it. Like, for the most part, for the creator economy part of my trip. And then the next day, I didn't really have anything on the go. I had no plans. I didn't want to bug Kate. She was like super busy. Like, she had to work, she had to move, she had a bunch of stuff. And I was like, I'll just let her be like a distracting individual, and I know that. So I didn't end up seeing anybody on my last day. I walked to breakfast, which I thought was 5 minutes away. It was 25 minutes away. That was long. And then from there, I grabbed my bag. And then I walked another like 45 minutes to the Los Angeles County Museum of Art, or whatever it is, LACMA, which was cool. And I was like, I have to spend at least 3 hours in this museum, which I did. I grinded it out. There's one really cool exhibit actually that I saw. I took a lot of pictures in it. But which makes me think about like how Jimmy Ivey talks about like nobody in art, like in music or movie, is commenting on society these days. If you want like any genuine creativity that actually has a message, you have to look at like traditional art, and this stuff did have a message. Like, I'm very much commenting on like our commerce culture, for lack of a better word, of like our culture of like having the needing to buy things all the time and stuff, and needing to impress other people, and it was very interesting. I can't remember the name of the woman who did it offhand, but it was really good. And then from there, I walked on like 20 minutes to this like taco place, which was all right. And then I Ubered back to the airport. The airport was a red eye. I was like, I'm just gonna crash out right away. But knowing me, I sat next to this dude that I ended up making friends with. His name is Ian. He's from Toronto. We are gonna grab beers at some point, or drinks at some point, now that I live here. We chatted for like 2 hours on the flight, and then I fell asleep for like maybe an hour and a half, and then a baby started screaming, so I was kind of in and out for an hour and a half after that. So I was really rolling on like less than 2 hours sleep, and I was definitely starting to get a little sick. And then I was in Toronto, my flight got delayed, and then it was a whole thing. Finally got home, I was exhausted. Josh picked us up from the airport with Hallie, and then I went and grabbed some Timmy's, and then I just kind of recovered for a couple days. Took a day off work on the Monday because I was so not feeling good, which I never take sick days. So, and then Tuesday I was back, worked for the day, and then we moved. And like the move was just a gong show because I was sick, so I couldn't help Hallie with any, like, I was gone and then I was sick. So I think Hallie, I just want to make sure that you can hear me because I'm on this train go by. Like, Hallie deserves all of the credit for the fact that we live here right now, because she did all of the packing. Because I was gone, so she packed a lot, and then I was sick, and she finished the packing. And then, then we went to get the truck, and of course, there's all the vlog, but like, they didn't have our truck. We ordered a 15-foot truck. They did not have it, so we had to drive 90 minutes, an hour and a half to Cornwall. Hallie's dad drove us to get a 26-foot truck. This thing was huge. I was wildly uncomfortable driving this thing. I was already worried to drive a regular U-Haul in Toronto. To get a 26-foot truck was insane. And so we have this giant ass truck. We're driving it. You know, I'm feeling okay when we're driving it through like the back roads from Cornwall. And then we hit Ottawa, and we're on like the Laurier Bridge. And I hit one of those like the dividers, like the little posts for the bike lane. I like hit one of those, and then I was starting to get panicky. And then we hit Cooper, and I like rocked the truck over a curb. And so I lost all of my confidence with those two instances. And then we park it out front of the building. We're trying to move. We got a parking ticket. I don't know if I'm going to include the clip of me reacting to the parking ticket. In the moment, I was heated. I was so pissed off. We have a $130 ticket that we have to pay now. $110 actually if we pay it in the next couple weeks. I might try to fight it because he put in an address that we weren't at. So we'll see. So there's that. And then, we got to Nana Granddad's. We parked the car. The truck was literally the size of the driveway. It was like from the house to the end of the driveway. It was so long. And then, but we got it in. We got it there. We woke up the next morning. We got on our way. It took us a while to get to Toronto, like probably like 6 hours. And then it was like crazy busy, bumper to bumper, rush hour traffic as soon as we hit Oshawa. And I was like overwhelmed. But no one else could drive because I was the only one on the insurance. But Hallie and I rocked it. We rocked it. And I say we because like I would have been screwed without her. She was directing me, and we were just good. Like we always, whenever we have to do the directions thing, we always end up bickering. We didn't bicker once. Like we're just getting like our relationship is improving. Not that it was bad before, but like it's improving from a good place to an even better place. And we're just in a good spot right now. So the truck, Hallie was like watching the line on the right side to let me know if I was gonna cross over the line or was getting close to the line, and she was directing me, and I was watching the left. And we were fine. And then we moved in. We got everything moved in, and then we had to drive again from. Then we had to drop the truck off, like in Etobicoke or however you want to say it. It was like a 30-minute drive away. So I was like, oh my goodness! And I blew a couple yellow lights or red lights in kind of driving the truck through Toronto. So I was a little bit anxious again, but we made it with no incident. We were driving on some like regular everyday streets. Luckily, I had like the big truck privilege where I could hit the signal and I could move over, and everyone would clear out of the way to let me move. So we got in, we got the drive done from Toronto. We had the big truck, which was overwhelming as all hell, and I was like, I literally could not sleep the night before. But my confidence grew as we drove, made the drive from Ottawa to Toronto, and we're here now. And we spent the last couple of days with Josh. Josh went home yesterday. I do miss him very much. I love him very much, and I miss him quite a bit. I miss my whole family, of course. But like I talked about at the beginning of this thing, if you're still watching, rad. Like, we're here now. And it's wild to think that we live here. It's crazy that we actually live here. This is our home now. The building is gorgeous. The city is amazing. Like, we went to the park yesterday. We went to Trinity Bellwoods, and there was just people everywhere. Like, there was people just hanging out, having picnics, throwing ball, playing catch with their dogs, playing music, just hanging out. And you didn't see that in Ottawa. I never saw that. Sorry, I thought I was opening the door. Like, you just don't see that in Ottawa. Like, people are just out doing things here. There's so much to do. I'm just so excited to be here. It's awesome. I'm excited to see what the future has in store for us in Toronto. I mean, we're going to be back in Ottawa in a couple of weeks because we're going to New Brunswick. But, yeah, I'm just happy to be here. I'm so happy, that we made this decision. I'm proud of both of us for making the decision, for getting here. I think I'm just in a good spot right now, just in life. I think, the podcast, the Creating Out podcast went amazing. They were over the moon They were incredibly happy with it, which makes me happy. Like, my big thing is I want them to be happy. I never wanted to get to a place where, like, we did this one time and that was a one-time thing we did that was cool, but we never did it again. They want to do it again. I'm going to be going back probably for Vid Summit now is the next trip, probably. It might be sooner, who knows, but probably Vid Summit. And they were also, like, I was talking with Kate, she said maybe like once a week every 2 months isn't realistic to do this. Maybe it'll be like once a month every 4, 5, 6 months. So there's a chance where I'm like kind of living in LA part-time is a potential future thing that might happen. We'll have to see. I haven't actually had a chance to talk to them or debrief from the first round because they had a retreat last week. And so they were kind of heads down focused on that. So I haven't actually talked to anybody since I got home. So I'll hopefully do that this week or next week, kind of get a lay of the land, see what's next for the podcast. But the podcast, like, I couldn't have gone any better. Like, I'm over the moon with the podcast. I want to go back. I'm like, right now I don't have any interviews to prep for, and I'm feeling kind of like anxious to prep for an interview again. So I'm in a good place there. I'm in a good place in our city. Hallie and I are just in a good place as well. Like, we're both happy to be here. We're happy with the city. Work, obviously, I got the promotion, which is great. And I just want to start getting some routines in place here in Toronto. I want to start writing again. But I've been rambling on here for over an hour now. I'm just excited with everything. June was a huge month for me in life, in everything. And so obviously this is a big update. In terms of July, like what I got coming up, nothing really. It's going to be this transition with work. It's just going to be enjoying my time in the city with Hallie. The trip to New Brunswick is at the very end of the month. And then on top of that, like, it's probably just writing. I want to reestablish a solid writing routine right now because I had one right before I went to LA, and obviously the last couple of weeks hasn't been much. So I'd like to reestablish a writing routine, enjoy this new gym, enjoy this new city, and just enjoy life right now because I'm very happy with how things are, and I plan to enjoy them to the fullest. So stay tuned. There's a lot of vlogs in June. There'll be a few more in July, I can imagine. So stay tuned for more. I'll obviously do these. And by stay tuned, I mean I'm probably talking to like either myself or somebody in my family right now. So thank you for watching this. I love you, and I will talk to you soon.